Ladies and gentlemen, we all carry emotions within us, sometimes heavy and overwhelming, sometimes light and joyful. Yet the true power we have is not in controlling these emotions, but in understanding and processing them. Life, in all its complexities, presents us with a constant ebb and flow of feelings, and how we deal with these feelings shapes the quality of our existence. It is in this very moment, as we sit together, that we are given an opportunity to explore the profound impact of our emotions on our lives, and how we can approach them with love, compassion, and grace. Feelings are not just fleeting moments that come and go. They are the language of our inner selves, guiding us toward understanding, growth, and healing. But it is not always easy to embrace them. Often we find ourselves pushing them aside, trying to avoid discomfort or seeking instant relief. Yet, true healing begins when we stop running from our feelings and start truly facing them, accepting them for what they are, and learning how to nurture ourselves through them. Today, we'll embark on a journey of self-discovery and self-love, learning to deal with our feelings in a way that empowers us to lead fulfilling, peaceful lives. So let's take a deep breath and open our hearts. For the first step toward transformation is simply the willingness to feel and embrace what lies within us. Emotions are messengers, not enemies. Our feelings, both good and bad, are messengers sent to guide us, not enemies to be defeated. Too often we view emotions like anger, sadness, or fear as something to avoid. We might label them as negative, or worse, suppress them, thinking that by doing so we are avoiding discomfort. But emotions are not something we need to be afraid of. They are signals, trying to communicate something to us about our inner world and our surroundings. In fact, every emotion we feel has a purpose. It is trying to tell us something about our thoughts, beliefs, or experiences that need our attention. For example, when we feel anger, it might point to a boundary being crossed or an injustice that we need to address. Sadness can show us that something has been lost, or that we need to allow ourselves the space to grieve. Fear is simply a reminder that we are about to venture into the unknown, and our inner self is looking for reassurance. When we begin to see our emotions as messages rather than enemies, we shift from a place of avoidance to one of curiosity. We stop running from discomfort and instead become active participants in our emotional healing. This shift allows us to grow more resilient, capable of facing life's challenges with an open heart, ready to listen to the wisdom within. Emotions, when understood, can lead us to greater awareness and clarity, guiding us to make choices that align with our highest good. Emotions are not inherently good or bad. They are just energy in motion. By acknowledging our feelings and listening to their messages, we begin to break down the walls we've built around our hearts and minds. This process of emotional awareness creates space for transformation. It allows us to see that we are not at the mercy of our feelings, but rather, we have the power to choose how we respond to them. Emotions don't control us, we control our relationship with them. It is essential, then, to give ourselves permission to feel. This might sound simple, but for many of us it can be quite challenging. Society often teaches us to push through our feelings, to get over it and move on quickly. Yet this approach can lead to emotional numbness, where we become disconnected from ourselves. It is only by embracing our feelings that we can fully experience the richness of life, both the highs and the lows. True emotional healing comes from fully feeling our emotions without judgment, allowing them to pass through us without lingering or festering. The path to emotional freedom lies in accepting all feelings, both the light and the dark. Every emotion is a part of us, a reflection of our inner state, and it deserves to be heard. By treating our feelings with respect and understanding, we begin to create an inner environment where peace and healing can flourish. Embracing the power of self-love. The foundation for dealing with feelings starts with self-love. It is impossible to heal emotionally if we do not first cultivate a loving relationship with ourselves. Self-love is not about narcissism or selfishness, but about honoring and valuing ourselves as we are. It's about recognizing that we are worthy of love, care, and compassion, regardless of our mistakes or imperfections. When we love ourselves, we give ourselves permission to feel everything that arises without shame or judgment. In moments of difficulty, we must turn to ourselves with kindness rather than criticism. It is easy to be hard on ourselves when we experience negative emotions, thinking that something is wrong with us. However, nothing is wrong with us when we feel. Our emotions are simply the reflections of our experiences, thoughts, and beliefs. When we love ourselves, we allow ourselves the space to feel without guilt or fear of judgment. This unconditional love is what allows us to heal and move forward. Self-love is a practice, one that we must nurture every day. It begins with simple acts of kindness toward ourselves, speaking to ourselves with compassion, giving ourselves time to rest, and practicing patience when we face challenges. When we choose to love ourselves, we are not just accepting who we are in the moment, but we are also empowering ourselves to grow and evolve. We create a safe space within where all of our feelings can be expressed freely, knowing that we will respond with care and understanding. As we deepen our self-love, we also begin to see the world differently. Our relationship with others changes because we no longer seek validation or approval from them. We become more compassionate, not only toward ourselves, but also toward others. The more we love ourselves, the more we can love those around us. And this love becomes the healing force that transforms our relationships and our world. True self-love requires honesty. It requires us to be truthful about our feelings, our needs, and our desires. This honesty with ourselves allows us to grow in authenticity, shedding the masks and roles that we may have been playing. When we are true to ourselves, we begin to align our actions with our inner truth, creating harmony in all aspects of our lives. Self-love becomes the bedrock upon which all healing is built. The practice of self-love also invites us to forgive ourselves. We are not perfect, and we will make mistakes along the way, but forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, releasing us from the weight of guilt and shame. In forgiveness, we find freedom and peace, and we open ourselves up to deeper layers of love and healing. Through self-love, we create a space where all emotions are honored and we can move through them with grace, accepting emotions as part of the healing process. To heal, we must first accept that emotions are a natural part of life. Healing doesn't mean suppressing or avoiding emotions. It means embracing them, understanding their message, and allowing them to pass through us. The process of healing is often messy and uncomfortable. It involves confronting our wounds and allowing the pain to surface. But it is through this process that we clear the old emotional blockages that have kept us stuck. Many people think that healing requires getting rid of all negative emotions, but this is a misunderstanding. Emotions, both painful and joyful, are essential to the human experience. The key to healing is not in eliminating emotions, but in allowing ourselves to fully feel and process them. This is where true emotional resilience lies, when we allow ourselves to feel without fear of being overwhelmed. Healing is about learning to coexist with our emotions, not running away from them. When we accept our emotions, we stop labeling them as good or bad. Instead, we begin to see them as simply part of the human condition. Each emotion has its role and purpose, and when we stop judging them, we allow ourselves to experience them more fully. This acceptance creates a sense of peace and allows us to move through difficult feelings with ease. We stop trying to control our emotions and instead trust in the natural process of emotional release. Acceptance also involves embracing our vulnerability. To truly heal, we must allow ourselves to be open and honest about what we are feeling. This means being willing to share our feelings with others without fear of rejection or judgment. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the gateway to authentic connection and healing. When we open ourselves to others, we invite healing into our lives, both through their support and through the act of expressing ourselves. Through acceptance, we cultivate trust in our own emotional wisdom. We trust that we have the capacity to navigate difficult emotions and come out the other side stronger and more aware. Healing is not about perfection, but about embracing the journey, knowing that each step is part of our growth and transformation. Ultimately, accepting our emotions is an act of self-compassion. It is about being gentle with ourselves, acknowledging the pain and the joy, and trusting that each emotion is helping us to become more whole. The more we accept our emotions, the more we allow ourselves to heal. The importance of emotional expression. One of the most powerful ways to deal with our feelings is through emotional expression. Emotions that are not expressed tend to build up, creating tension and discomfort in our bodies and minds. When we hold back our feelings, we may feel as if we are carrying a heavy burden. But when we express ourselves, we release that tension and create space for healing. Emotional expression can take many forms. Some may find comfort in talking with a trusted friend or therapist, while others may prefer writing, painting, dancing, or singing. The form of expression doesn't matter as much as the act itself. What's important is that we allow our feelings to be expressed in a healthy and constructive way. Suppressing emotions leads to their intensification over time, and eventually, these unexpressed feelings can manifest as physical or mental illness. Therefore, it is crucial that we give ourselves the freedom to express what we are feeling. When we express our emotions, we are honoring our truth. We are telling ourselves and the world that what we are feeling matters. This act of validation is deeply healing. Emotional expression is not about seeking approval from others, but about giving ourselves permission to be fully human, with all the complexities that come with it. It is about embracing the fullness of our emotional experience, without shame or fear. Through expression, we also learn to process our emotions more effectively. When we verbalize our feelings, we begin to understand them more clearly. Talking about our emotions can provide us with insights into their root causes, helping us to uncover limiting beliefs or past traumas that need healing. Writing or creating art can serve as a cathartic release, allowing us to process feelings in a way that feels safe and empowering. Emotional expression also connects us to others. When we share our feelings, we invite vulnerability, which can deepen our connections and build trust. It allows others to understand us better, creating an environment of empathy and compassion. Through shared emotional expression, we remind ourselves that we are not alone in our feelings. We are all in this together, navigating the human experience. Finally, emotional expression is a form of self-care. It is a reminder to slow down and check in with ourselves, to honor our emotions and give them the attention they deserve. By expressing our feelings, we take responsibility for our emotional well-being, empowering ourselves to heal and grow. Understanding the connection between thoughts and feelings. Our thoughts and feelings are deeply interconnected. Our beliefs and perceptions shape the way we feel, and our feelings in turn influence the way we think. This cycle can either support our healing or keep us trapped in negative patterns. When we understand this connection, we gain the power to break free from limiting thought patterns and create emotional freedom. Our thoughts are like seeds that grow into feelings. If we hold on to negative beliefs about ourselves or the world, these thoughts can create feelings of fear, anxiety, or sadness. On the other hand, positive and empowering thoughts lead to feelings of peace, joy, and contentment. The key is not to simply change our thoughts, but to shift our beliefs and perceptions in a way that supports our emotional well-being. When we examine our thoughts, we can begin to see the patterns that contribute to our emotional state. Are we constantly criticizing ourselves? Are we expecting the worst in every situation? These patterns of thinking can lead to chronic negative emotions. By recognizing them, we can begin to challenge these beliefs and replace them with more supportive and loving thoughts. It is also important to recognize that our thoughts are not facts. Just because we think something doesn't make it true. Many of the negative thoughts we have are based on past experiences or fears about the future. By questioning these thoughts and exploring their validity, we can begin to release their hold over us. When we replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations and loving self-talk, we create an environment where our emotions can flourish in a healthy way. Our feelings can also guide us in identifying the thoughts that need to be transformed. For example, if we consistently feel fear or anxiety, it may be a sign that our thoughts are focused on worst-case scenarios or that we are holding on to limiting beliefs. By addressing these thoughts, we can release the emotional tension that they create. Ultimately, understanding the connection between thoughts and feelings empowers us to take control of our emotional experience. We no longer feel like passive recipients of our emotions. Instead, we become active participants in our emotional well-being. We can choose to shift our thoughts, and in doing so, we can change how we feel. Cultivating patience and trust in the healing process. Healing takes time, and it requires patience. We live in a world that values quick fixes and instant results, but true emotional healing doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, one that unfolds gradually as we learn to accept and embrace our feelings. The key is to trust the process and be patient with ourselves. Patience is an act of self-love. When we are patient with ourselves, we give ourselves the grace to heal at our own pace. We understand that there is no rush, no deadline, and that we are exactly where we need to be. Healing is not linear. Some days we may feel strong and empowered, while other days we may feel vulnerable or defeated. This is all part of the process. There are no bad days. Every step, every emotion is a part of our growth. Trusting the healing process means letting go of expectations and surrendering to the journey. We may not always understand why we are feeling a certain way, or why healing seems to take longer than we'd like. But trust is knowing that everything is happening in its own perfect timing. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, healing is still occurring beneath the surface. As we cultivate patience, we also cultivate resilience. Every time we meet our emotions with love and acceptance, we grow stronger. We learn to trust ourselves and our ability to navigate any emotional challenge. This trust in ourselves becomes the foundation for all healing. Knowing that we have the power to transform any emotion, any belief, and any experience that no longer serves us. Patience is not about being passive or complacent. It is about being gentle with ourselves as we continue on our healing path. It is about trusting that with each breath, each moment, we are moving closer to emotional freedom. And when we trust the process, we open ourselves up to the possibility of deep, lasting healing. The journey of healing is one of self-discovery, self-empowerment, and self-love. As we deal with our feelings with patience and trust, we create the space for transformation to occur. And in this space, we find our true power. As we close today's gathering, remember that you have everything within you to deal with your feelings in a way that brings healing, peace, and joy into your life. Your emotions are not obstacles. They are the very guideposts that lead you to deeper self-awareness and understanding. By embracing your feelings with love, patience, and trust, you unlock the transformative power that lies within you. Know that you are worthy of love, that your feelings are valid, and that healing is a beautiful, ongoing process. You are not alone on this journey. Every step you take brings you closer to the authentic, empowered version of yourself, the one who is free to feel, to heal, and to live fully.